Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here. Today we're talking about PlayStation because Sony is about to make a literal billion-dollar mistake. In fact, they probably already have. So obviously, it's been a couple years now since we had the Bungie acquisition, where Sony scooped up Bungie, added them to the PlayStation family for $4 billion. And at the time, that acquisition, in my mind, made perfect sense. I mean, just kind of consider the fact that Bungie at that time was such a classically talented studio. They were making one of the biggest, most popular, most played, hours-wise especially, shooters on the planet. Destiny 2 had multiple giant successful expansions. And if you played it, Destiny 2 had some of the most interesting gunplay, really creative raid mechanics, really fun powers and stuff. So the idea of, okay, let's take that PlayStation budget, that PlayStation popularity, and add it into Bungie. And what happened? Well, honestly, Bungie is dead. A lot of the main people left, and now, instead, we're getting Marathon. Today, they released a ton of details about Marathon. The release date, the final trailer, apparently there's about to be a beta test, and a collector's edition that is $200 and doesn't even include the game. I want to talk about this because I feel like Marathon is very obviously going to utterly flop. It's about to just be so dead, it might as well be Yamcha face down in a crater. But instead of just thinking of this as a typical project, I want to analyze how I feel like this is very much Sony's hubris. Sony's obsession with making these PlayStation Live service games has led to a gigantic financial flop that hopefully they don't feel the pain of for too terribly long. Learn from your mistakes, but let's break it down. I hope you're having a great day. If you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's start with the fact that the trailer they released today is actually pretty beautiful. A lot of people in the comments and stuff are saying that they've done those multiple waves of closed technical tests. And now a lot of people are sort of just leaking. In fact, hundreds and hundreds of people are talking on the record and saying, I played through all the tests. Apparently, the gameplay now is pretty dang great. The balancing of going against the NPCs and going against the other players, using your abilities and stuff, apparently it is very, very fun. But going into this now, it feels like such a bad time to release an extraction shooter. Like, at this point, extraction shooters are a very niche genre. Some of them have become incredibly popular, Escape from Tarkov, Arc Raiders and stuff, but I feel like the amount of people that want to play a permadeath online shooter, it's a tiny, tiny group. It's not something you make a $4 billion acquisition to do, right? I have to admit that it is very funny. This trailer leaked last night through the Xbox store. A little bit funny. Just the idea also of the idea of buying the studio for $4 billion and then making third-party games, making stuff that appears on every platform, a bit odd as well. But let's talk about this collector's edition. I want to start with the fact that there's this Deluxe Edition. So it's coming out March 5th. It is a $40 thing if you just want the game itself. I have said this once, I'll say it again, and I'm going to say it again. This game should have been $10, $20 maybe, or included with PlayStation Plus. And the reason I say that is because the biggest thing that kills so many live service games the second they come out now is not enough like upfront hype. You have to get people on there, streaming it, talking about it, excited about the seasons, making you have that FOMO when they have that cool cosmetic earned or some crazy gun you see the opponent have and it makes you want to grind and play. Live service games live and die on the player base. These things do not just exist in a vacuum. They live and die only by the player base. Making that player base tinier is going to hurt you. Making this cost $40 upfront minimum is so bafflingly stupid. This baby ain't Helldivers 2. You're not going to have that crazy, flash in the pan, nuclear hype moment instantly. This is so dumb. But honestly, the $60 edition sounds even stupider. You basically get, the first season pass completely for free. The standard edition silk reward tokens. Gun skins for your shotguns. This is... I have to admit that part of my frustration is that I think the art style of Marathon looks perfect. I love it. I love the weird technical weirdness of it. I love this mix of like cyber glitchiness and blood spray and stuff. This looks utterly Bungie perfection. So the fact that they're taking this and putting it into a live service game that we all know is not even going to be alive 6 months from now, the server count's probably going to be single digits within the year, right? I guess it feels so wasted. Like, why spend so much time on a game that has so little actual stuff to offer? Now, ever since that initial reveal, there was filled with a lot of stuff about what the game doesn't have. When they first revealed this game, it did not have proximity chat, it did not have solo queue, it didn't have really anything that a lot of people were actually begging for. They have now actually said, hey, we fixed a lot of that. The game is much, much more playable, it's much, much more ready. But when I look at this, it still feels like, it feels very cart before the horse. It feels like they have this release date in mind more than having a good game. All these products, nobody's going to be buying these headphones. Nobody's going to buy this controller. I mean, I kind of want the controller. I do like a lot of the collector's edition controllers. I've got the Spider-Man one, the God of War one, the gray 60th anniversary one, right? But this to me just seems like something nobody's going to want, especially because this is the collector's edition. The collector's edition is a figurine. It's got these like cool 3D skins and stuff like that. $200. No game code. Does not include a physical disc or a digital copy of the game. Do you know why? This is Sony's official statement originally. Sony originally said we don't include a physical copy of a game inside collector's editions when they were cross-platform. You know, that was their excuse with the God of War Ragnarok super expensive collector's edition. They said, oh, well, some people are going to buy it on PlayStation 4. Some people are going to buy it on PlayStation 5. We don't want to actually, make you have to buy a specific collector's edition for your platform. So a digital code makes sense. This is several steps further. This time, they're not even pretending to care about the fan base. They're literally just saying, hey, yeah, you know what, you'll also buy the game. So if you're trying to get the Deluxe Edition and the Collector's Edition, you're spending $250 to begin playing the game. To say that's disrespectful, it's such a drastic understatement. You know what? I want to refresh this live here, right? I want to refresh this right now and take a look at the replies. Look at this. Man, got to get people. People thought getting a game code was bad. This will be $80 in 2 years. Drop that price down to $185 and you got a deal. Oh my God. It's just so crazy. Why? Yeah. Somebody said, why call it a collector's edition if it doesn't include the game? What? I feel like the thing that's happening with this right now, with just in general, a lot of the conversation around Marathon is all the stuff we wish it was, right? The original Marathon games were very interesting, legendary, groundbreaking first-person shooters. It was what they were doing, what Bungie was doing before they made Halo, right? So it's funny to think, not to go all way, I wish it wasn't an extraction shooter for the 50th time, but Psy. Such a cool world and aesthetic. Of course, I'll be playing it anyways. A lot of people can't help but kind of hope for the potential of a project that's never going to exist. This is a game that is not going to last very long. I mean, I hate to be so pessimistic, but the amount of live service games that find any sort of success, the number is single digit at best. It's a shrinking audience. It's just too expensive. The upkeep on a lot of these games, like these companies talk about it, the big problem with live service is that usually when you make a game, you've got 200 developers, you make the game, you make the DLC, and then everybody takes a long vacation. Or sometimes they lay off a chunk of the staff with a huge bonus and then start rehiring for the next big project. Whereas when you're making a live service, you keep all 200 people. They don't take vacations. They stay locked in because it's just content, patch, raid, update, shift, change, tweak. You never, ever get a chance to ever take a breath. And that is incredibly expensive, not just on the mental health of the developers, but also it's incredibly expensive to make a game like that. I'm still in the spot where there is no way that Marathon is going to make enough money to upkeep that amount of stuff. I mean, Arc Raiders' team, that game is much smaller, much more contained, much more unique. And honestly, even then they're using AI for the voices and stuff, right? I don't know. I just feel like there's no way that Marathon, in a million years, there's no way that Marathon is even going to last 6 months. The fact that they're still releasing it, to me, I mean, these people are going to be calling it Concord 2 on launch day. These have been some off-the-cuff thoughts. How do you feel about Marathon? Does this feel like a billion-dollar mistake to you? To me, it definitely does. Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. If you could, please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. And then go eat your protein. I suggest Quest protein chips, not an ad. I just love Quest protein chips so much.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.